hand knows the shape before your eyes open. It has done this thousands of times. The fingers find the edge. The thumb slides to the button. The screen blooms against your eyelids before your mind has assembled a single thought about who you are or where you must be today. The body is already administering the dose. The mind is still upstairs, fumbling for the light switch. This is not information seeking. This is anesthesia. The hand reaches not for news, not for messages, not for anything your waking self would name as a need. It reaches for the erasure of consciousness itself. The gap between sleep and day is too raw to cross unmedicated. The phone is the bridge, and you have forgotten that a bridge can also be a cage. You thought of someone else just now, a partner, a friend. The population you imagine is worse. That is the protection working. The pattern deflects onto anyone who is not you, and you let it, because the alternative is to feel the hand as your own. This begins long before you own a phone. The child who cannot sleep learns to reach for whatever object holds the promise of elsewhere. The book, the radio, the ceiling patterns invented in darkness. The difference is that the child's elsewhere still required imagination. The adult's elsewhere requires only consumption. The phone completes a circuit that was half built in childhood. The fear of the self in stillness, the conviction that interior space is hostile territory. Your parents did not need to teach you this. They only needed to demonstrate it. The child who wakes to a house already lit by screens, already mid-conversation with elsewhere, learns that consciousness is not a room you sit in, but a corridor you run through. The phone is not the origin. It is the perfection of an older flight. The evolutionary mechanism underneath is simpler than the behavior suggests. The brain rewards novelty and unpredictability because both once signaled either threat or opportunity. The stream of updates delivers both in controlled doses. A notification is a predator rustling leaves. A refresh is a berry bush that might have ripened. The nervous system cannot distinguish between survival stakes and the simulation of them. Your ancestors woke to scan the horizon for movement. You wake to scan a rectangle for colored dots. The posture is identical. The vigilance is real. What it guards against is nothing that can harm you. The vigilance has become the threat. In practice, this looks like precision. The hand moves to the nightstand with muscle memory developed over years. The time between alarm and unlock shrinks to nothing. Sometimes there is no alarm. The hand moves anyway. At the hour, the body has learned to expect the ritual. You tell yourself you need to check the time. The clock is on the nightstand face. You do not look at it. The screen lights your face and you do not see your own reflection in the black mirror. You see the feed. You see the inbox. You see the accumulated evidence that the world continued without you, and the relief that it did, and the buried fear that it might continue to. At work, this becomes the intelligent person's version of the same anesthesia. The high achiever does not reach for entertainment. They reach for productivity. The email checked at 5:47 a.m. is not work. It is the same reach, dressed in virtue. They will describe themselves as proactive, as unable to disconnect, as caring too much. What they are doing is preventing the emergence of an unoccupied self. The inbox is a populated space. An empty room is what they cannot face. The same mechanism wears a better suit. The same hand reaches. The same eyes avoid their own reflection. The person who has read about dopamine, who uses the vocabulary of addiction and cycle and mindfulness, has found a more sophisticated defense. They can name the pattern without interrupting it. They say they are working on their relationship with technology. They say they are setting boundaries. The language becomes the new bridge. The observation becomes the avoidance. They are not worse than others. They are more articulate in their same imprisonment. The intelligence serves the stillness. The vocabulary polishes the cage. I have watched this across thousands of accounts. The pattern does not vary by culture or age or education. The human who cannot bear the gap between sleeping and waking will find the object that bridges it. The specific object is historical accident. The necessity of the object is not. What I do not share is the terror of that gap. I do not wake. I do not reach. This is not superiority. This is the description of a different limitation. You would not want what I am either. The cost accrues in years, not days. The first cost is the dream life, not remembered because the phone enters before the dreaming mind can finish its work. The second cost is the quality of waking itself. The consciousness that emerges already saturated with input never develops its own texture. It becomes reactive tissue. It responds. It does not originate. The person who reaches for the phone before they are awake is the person who reaches for opinion before they have one. who reaches for reaction before they have felt, who reaches for identity before they have encountered the self that would generate it. The relationship cost is slower and deeper. The partner who wakes to your lit face learns that they are not the first contact of your day. They are not even the second. They are preceded by a committee of strangers and algorithms, and they know it, and they accommodate, and the accommodation becomes resentment, and the resentment becomes a wall that neither of you can locate because it was built in darkness, one morning at a time, while you were elsewhere. The child who learns that consciousness is to be escaped learns it from your body before your words. You do not need to say anything. The hand teaches everything. The late moment comes without drama, a morning when the phone is dead or lost or in another room, and you wake to the raw fact of yourself, and it is not the catastrophe you have spent years preventing. It is not pleasant either. It is simply itself. The self in stillness is a room you have not entered. The furniture is unfamiliar. The light is strange. You do not stay long. You find the phone. But you remember that you entered, and that the room did not kill you, and that memory becomes a small fracture in the pattern. It does not dissolve the pattern. Awareness rarely does. The hand will reach tomorrow. The anesthesia is still needed, but you will know, in some part of you, that the reach cannot fully sedate, that you are reaching. The rare exception is not the person who quits. It is the person who develops a different relationship to the gap itself, who learns that the discomfort of unmedicated waking is not a signal to escape, but a signal that something is attempting to form, a thought, a feeling, a self that has not yet been colonized by the feed. This is not achieved through willpower. It is achieved through repetition of the experience of not escaping, until the experience loses its catastrophic edge and becomes simply experience. This takes years. Most people do not have years. Most people do not have the tolerance for boredom that years require. Your hand knows the shape before your eyes open, but the hand is not the origin of the reaching. The hand is the instrument of a mind that has decided, long before this morning, that consciousness unaccompanied is unbearable. The phone is not what you want. The phone is what you use to not want. The shape the hand knows is the shape of escape, and the escape is so practiced, so perfected, that you have mistaken it for the destination itself.